Tala started as a side project by fitness influencer Grace Beverly in 2019 to now generating more than $30,000 a day. And the social media strategy that they're using is simply genius. While other brands are fighting for attention with paid ads, Tala simply educates their audience about their products and watches the sales roll in. And in this video, I'm going to break down their entire social media marketing playbook so you can implement the same strategies for your own business. Let's dive in. So, Grace Beverly effectively transitioned her substantial influencer following into Tala's initial customer base. By consistently sharing her entrepreneurial journey and the brand's development process on her personal social media platforms, she cultivated a sense of community and transparency, right? So she started off the foundation of already kind of having the audience. She just needed to transition it to the Tala brand. But that isn't easy. It has to be done in the right way. This approach resonated with her audience, many of whom were already engaged with the fitness content, making them more inclined to support her new venture. So as we've talked about a lot of times, she transitioned that audience into the brand so that they had an emotional connection to the brand through Grace. So now they were not buying the products, no, they were buying Grace's products, right? Not only does she share kind of, the process on her personal social media platforms, but she also shares her perspective of actually running the brand, right? That includes struggles behind the scenes of a personal side of running the brand, both good and bad, which even more cultivates transparency in this cult following, right? Because she's appealing to younger girls, and the more emotional connection you can give to them, the more they will be tied and willing to support your brand. So that is what she did so well from the start, funneled her audience from her organic presence from her own personal pages onto Tala in a very discreet and simple way. One good example of how she funneled that audience from her personal pages onto Tala's is this video right here. Here she takes her behind the scenes of actually creating the white t-shirt that she's wearing, right? Here you can see she's showing the sketches, she's showing the behind the scenes of how they're shooting them at the shoot, she's showing every detail of how she actually created this t-shirt. And now what does that mean? She isn't selling a white t-shirt now, no, she's selling her perspective on how she created this t-shirt and why it will resonate with her audience, right? So people can buy a white t-shirt from anywhere, but they choose Tala because Grace does such a great job at showcasing her perspective on why and how she created it, right? So this is just one example of the many reels that she creates. I'll get into a few more in the next few minutes, but this is one example of how she actually takes her customers behind the scenes of creating the products. And as you saw, she starts the product by showcasing her morning routine, making the coffee, taking them behind the scenes, etc. So it's just a great way of including her audience. You can see right here, she started with just showcasing it, showcasing behind the scenes, showcasing her making coffee in the mornings, etc. etc. So it's just great, right? She shows the daily routine of wearing this t-shirt instead of actually selling the t-shirt. Now back to what I was talking about. Another way that Grace emphasizes transparency is by showcasing Tala's sustainable production process. Through social media, she provides insights into the brand's commitment to ethical manufacturing, use of recycled materials, and efforts to minimize the environmental impact. This openness contrasts with the often opaque practices of larger corporations and reinforces Tala's dedication to sustainability. So not only does she talk about how sustainable the production of the products themselves are, but she also introduced this rethinking the system process, right? So let me show you exactly how she did that. On the Instagram, she has this description as well as on the website, right? We're rethinking the system. We can all start by wearing what we already have and decreasing overall consumption, and then finding ways to give clothing new life when we're done with it. We are so excited to introduce Retailer, taking our 0% landfill commitment one step further. You can now send in your pre-loved well-worn pieces to Reskin, where they'll be repaired, reused, and recycled. You'll even get a discount off of your next Tala purchase, one step towards a more circular approach, right? So she incentivizes her customers to actually send in their old pieces and get a discount and actually, commit themselves to a sustainable lifestyle, sustainable shopping experience. And not only that, but she literally shows step by step how it actually works, and it's pretty damn genius, right? And very straightforward. So first step one, you can find the link on Retailer on the sustainability webpage at weartala.com. Then add the Tala items you want to return to your take back baskets. Very easy, same as kind of shopping, just doing it reverse. Download or print your shipping label paid for by Tala, so Tala even pays the shipping label that that they have to pay for to send the products back, and then Reskin will verify your trade-in and send your discount code, and then you can invest in your next Tala stable item, right? So it's this whole loop that actually allows the customer to incentivize the customer to buy something new actually commit to sustainability, and they are even paid for, right? They don't have to do anything themselves out of pocket. So it's just an amazing way of once again showing transparency and building a sustainable brand. Now, moving on, these are some of like the main pillars that she's actually building Tala upon, and that she's been building upon for this last, past 6 years or so. So once, as we talked about, personal, right? She has the personal content for transparency. So once again, this is just where she is transparently building Tala, taking the customers behind the scenes of her personal perspective of running the brand. Then we have the Instagram, right? And this is actually quite interesting because she's using Instagram for more middle of funnel and organic plus awareness. So compared to most brands who actually use Instagram for like only awareness and top of funnel traffic, she uses it to convert her audience at a deeper level, right? This is where she actually nurtures her audience, takes them behind the scenes even more into detail, and actually kind of sells them. Instead of having Instagram as like top of funnel, she's actually using it as a selling point, which is really genius of her, because she uses TikTok for the behind the scenes, like at the office, taking the customers behind the scenes of how they're operating at the office, how the girls are actually, working at the office, how their lifestyle is behind the scenes, etc., etc. She does this very, very well on TikTok, whereas Instagram, she doesn't really use that. It's more so educating on the products on Instagram, whereas TikTok is more so educating on the business. So she engages the audience in this way by really showcasing them behind the scenes of how they run the brand, and it gets millions of views. And then obviously she uses email marketing as well, but that is mainly for new drops and updates like every other brand, but she still does it in a more personalized way, which is really, really great to see. Now, this creates this personal diary effect. So more so than Tala being like a activewear brand, it's more so a personal diary of how Grace is building the brand and how the brand has become a part of her. So that is kind of the main thing that she's built, a personal diary, which is great. So these are like the main points that you use to convert the personal side of her audience to the business side of the audience, right? She uses the same content style on Tala and as her personal page. So there's not really any difference between what she posts on her personal page compared to Tala's. It's the exact same thing. The Tala page is just more focused on products compared to her main page being more focused about her, but it's the same content style, which creates this red line and familiarity for her customers throughout the pages, right? There's not that much different of watching Grace Beverly Instagram and Wear Tala Instagram, right? And that is what she's done so well. So emotional connection is just kind of effortless because there's not really any other aspect of it than it being the same content, which is why it transitions so effortlessly and creates the emotional connection effortlessly as well. So it feels like buying from their favorite creator instead of actually buying from their brand, right? They feel like they're buying from Grace and not from Tala. So that is the genius behind funneling her personal audience into her business audience. So this is the main way that she actually funnels her customer purchases, right? She uses this content cycle, which is actually very, very well thought through. So she uses awareness, and for this she does organic plus paid. So she kind of uses this founder-led, strategy to both use it for organic and also for paid ads, which is just awareness, right? It's just founder-led, getting people introduced to Grace Beverly and Wear Tala as one unit, not a separate, but as one unit. So organic and paid ads for awareness. Now, consideration is what she uses for trust and authenticity, and this is once again the behind the scenes that she does on TikTok, that she does on her own page, and how she actually styles the products, right? If you hop onto Wear Tala's TikTok, it's a lot of styling the products, right? How you can style them for your gym workouts, how you can style them for yoga classes, how you can use them in your everyday personal life, etc., etc. So if we actually hop onto the Instagram page and we see some of the reels that they're posting, we can see that it is very much lifestyle, right? I obviously can't open the Instagram reels right here because then it will ask me to log in, but the main thing, you can get the point, right? It's very much lifestyle right here. As you can see, it's very much just staying the lives, and then in between there's a lot of kind of product focused education. Like here you can see it's on the tennis court, very much focused on the product, some different shots, but in between you can also see here they're drinking coffee and tea. Here she's reading, here she's working out, here it's like a day in the life on the office, here she's kind of just drinking her little shake, here she's walking in the street, right? So it's very much staying the life and the process behind wearing the Tala products throughout the day compared to the products themselves. Now, moving on to how she showcases the customer's preferences. This is where she actually uses the most Instagram middle of funnel, as I was talking about, email marketing and organic. So here she slowly transitions away from the most so kind of top of funnel, just awareness kind of things, and more so into the email marketing, really selling the products, educating about the specifics of the products, how they're made, how they fit, how they can use them, and even going as far as showcasing promotions, both through organic but also through emails, right? And then comes the loyalty part, where she builds this following, documenting and showcasing all of the behind the scenes, and where she's actually also going ahead and allowing people to purchase, right? So this is where they purchase, this is where they become a loyal customer and a loyal follower of Tala, and where they just come back and purchase over and over again. So now she has the customers in the palm of her hand, and now she can just continue to educate them, continue to build a following, convert them onto the Tala, convert them onto her own page. Like, it's just this beautiful funnel of having the customers following along every single day. Then comes the advocacy part, where the customers become repeat buyers. So this is where they start to advocate for her brand, right? This is where they have bought from Tala multiple times and start talking about Tala to her friends, start talking about Grace to her friends, like etc, etc. So this is where she builds word of mouth, and where, you know, a lot of the profit and organic sales come in. Not organic so much talking about like content, but organic talking mouth to mouth and word of mouth. Now, Grace actually includes Tala's links and ads in every bio of a social media account. So if you look here, you can see this is on Instagram. She includes Tala right here. If we go onto TikTok, oh my bad, if we go onto TikTok, you can also see that she's here. She's written probably yapping about my business, and then she has Grace Beverly and where Tala in the bio once again. So she just has Tala in every single bio. She focuses on Tala in every single page of her social media accounts. Now, what does this do? Not only that, but that a lot of her posts are actually collabs between hers and Tala's accounts, which funnels her audience into Tala's effortlessly. So you know that you can do these collaborations when you post on Instagram, on TikTok with other business accounts. That is what she does all of the time, so that not only is her account actually engaged with Tala's, but it also is just like when someone likes her post, it automatically likes Tala's, right? So very, very genius. So essentially, she's promoting Tala in a non-promotional way, which allows the customer to feel like they're making decisions to engage with Tala, not being forced to. So it's just this organic way of engaging with Tala without really focusing on the customers, you know, having to engage with the brand, you know, telling them follow Tala, da 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 da. They do it automatically because it's actually Grace's own brand, own account, right? So I hope that makes sense, but it's just a great way of doing it. Now, these are sort of the 7 keys to content that converge, right? And especially that Tala has really used well, right? The first part is UGC. So as we all know about user generated content, that worked very well for her, and that is what you see right here, where she's using user generated content. These are those posts right here, right? This is just UGC, and she does that very well, right? UGC can work very well for any brand if you do it correctly. Now, the main thing that she's actually just paired this with is founder videos. So not only is it UGC, but it is the founder's UGC, and that is what resonates and stands out, because it's the founder that generates the UGC, not just some random girls who has been sent some Tala products and then is creating a video. No, it's literally the founder of the brand who generates most of the UGC. So that is why that works so well for them. She also uses this demo structure, where she uses outfit of the day, get ready with me, etc, as we just talked about here on the Instagram, right? Showing the customers how they can use their products in their everyday life, get ready with me, how she puts together the pieces, outfit of the days, etc. Then obviously we have the famous creator influencer videos, which is kind of more so UGC, but she just has her own big Instagram account, which allows her to get some amazing collabs with big influencers and also expand the audience that way, which is obviously a no-brainer for most brands if you do it correctly. Then we have the street interviews, right? And a lot of brands actually think that this is not such a good way to go about it, because they think, oh, it's not high quality, oh, it looks cheap, whatever. But it works very well because you can ask certain questions to the street interviewers, you can get certain answers, and customers can kind of see themselves in the street viewers' positions, which is why it works absolutely amazing, and it gets a lot of views, believe it or not. Then we have the trendy or challenge aspect, where she just, you know, combines trend with challenges, and this is especially on TikTok. I cannot open TikTok because then it will pause the whole thing, but regardless, if you go onto Tala's TikTok page, you can see how they actually buy into trends, how they position themselves with challenges, and, you know, for their community, because it is an active wear brand, so they do these challenges as well, which is a great way. Now, behind the scenes, as we've talked about already a lot, behind the scenes, showcasing on the office, showcasing her perspective, etc. I don't need to go too much into this, right? So these are kind of the main pieces of content that she's used to convert that audience, right? Because one thing is actually gaining the eyeballs and gaining the awareness on her products, another thing is converting those eyeballs to customers, and these are the main pieces of content styles that you use to do that. So you can go ahead and take inspiration from these 7 pieces and implement them for yourself, because that is what converts the audiences, right? Because obviously you want to get the eyeballs, you want to get the attention, but then you also want to make money out of it, and this is the kind of pieces of content that you can use to do so. So that is what she's done very well. So these are some of the let me just show you some actually concrete examples of winning formats, right? We have the first one right here, which is obviously UGC's the ads we've talked about, which just showcases the products, generates UGC with some of the girls, and this got 10.8 million views, right? Ridiculous. Then we have this one, which is once again founder-led, just Grace showing the products, actually kind of just influencing her audience by showcasing how it fits on her, etc., which is the founder-led, as we've talked about. And then we have the influencer with the big collaborators, where she expands her audience with different collaborators and different influencers to furthermore get eyes on the brand, 3.2 million views. And then we have the demo, which is, you know, get ready with me, outfit of the day, etc., which gains around 1 million views. So what we can see from this is that 10 million views for UGC, 2.3 for founder, influencers 3.2. So these are kind of like the main 3 ones that she's been using and that works the best. And then we obviously have the get ready with me, which is also a good format, but it hasn't been working as well as the other 3 kind of discovery phases that she's used for the content pieces. Now, the reason that organic actually converts better is because people are not really feeling that they are being sold, but instead they feel that they are getting inspired to actually buy. Even the ones that don't buy yet, they get funneled into paid plus email. So when you have organic content, they get inspired by the content, and they get, you know, they feel like they're aspirating to that exact person that is within the content, and then they buy from that instead of feeling that they're getting sold, as you do with an ad, right? In an ad, you're telling, hey, we have an offer, hey, buy this, buy that, and then they land directly on their website, right? In organic content, you buy into the brand first, you buy into the creator first, and then from there you start buying the products, which is why it's called organic. Now, Grace's audience relates to her, and therefore they end up buying more so Grace's because of her versus the actual product, right? So what I was trying to say here is that the audience ends up buying more so because of Grace compared to the actual product, because they buy Grace and not Tala, as I've mentioned, right? And that is the main thing, and that is the main aspect of being founder-led. So just to quickly showcase you here how she actually puts this to use on TikTok, you can see this is a founder-led video, got 338k views. This is a UGC, got 321,000 views, and this is more so kind of, you know, focusing on the product itself. And here we have once again the get ready with me aspect. Here we have the Team Tala try on, where we actually also have once again the get ready with me outfit of the day. Here we have the educational, where it's just product focused. You can see it gets less views, but it obviously converts better. Here you can see it's once again when you fall for our April Fool's joke. So this is the behind the scenes of the office. And here you can see 2 types of friends, which is buying into the trends. And then here you can see shapewear made to be seen. So this is more so once again buying into the product educational side of things. And then we have here once again product showcasing, and then the one last part, which is just showcasing the new store that she opened. And then we have the challenge aspect of it, of styling the pieces throughout the week. So this is kind of the way that she uses the whole organic part of the side of the things, and how she has built the entire Tala brand. Like, that's it. And once again, in this video I've only talked about the organic side of things, because that is what Tala has been built upon, and you can literally go ahead and implement these things now, today, as I've just walked you through. So I hope you got some very good insights from this breakdown, and that is it for the Tala organic strategy. Thank you guys for watching, and if you found value in this breakdown of Tala's marketing strategy and you want my help to take your fashion brand to the next level, you can click on the first link in the description to apply for my one-on-one coaching program. I only take on clients that I genuinely know I can help, which is why spots are limited. I'll see you in the next one.